Wolverine. Wolverine.
Pull up a chair. This is Fluxtaposed, episode 240, recorded on December 4th, 2018. On the docket today, IRL Netflixation of the Christmas Chronicles and What You Playin', featuring Octopath Traveler and Buster Scruggs. Finally, I'm going to close out the show with that community grab bag and the sweet, sweet, awkward finish. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And always, always, please enjoy the show. Welcome back to another episode of Fluxtaposed. I am happy that you decided to listen. I'm happy that maybe you've decided to watch. And Lucas, he's here with me.
Hi.
He's happy too. I'm Jason Lacey. Welcome back to another episode of this here podcast that we've grown to come to love and enjoy. I think. Maybe you have too. I hope so.
I regret.
Maybe? Yes? Regret?
I've come to regret everything I've done.
You know, I think there's a time in every man's life where you look back and say, this is what I've done. This is what I failed to do. I'm going to go die now. That's
all right. I would agree. I'd say that's true. I did that yesterday. It's a good old time.
Oh, well, if that doesn't get you excited to listen to this podcast, if you never have before, I don't know what isn't. Hey, you should check out, we have a great Discord community over at fluxtaposed.com/Discord. You should join it. You can hang out with me and Lucas every day, not just during podcast days. And I mean, it's a pretty great thing.
It's like this show is happening all the time.
All the time. It's so much fun, you guys. Like all the time. Ted, oh my gosh, dude. Thank you so much, sir. You're too kind. Thank you for the bits, my dude. Guys, we got a couple things out of the way. Fluxtaposed AMA update on that. We are shooting for a January filming date, and we have a email address created for you to submit your questions because Lucas and I are going in blind. I don't want us to see any of the questions prior to them being administered by Sexy Man Mike. So we have an email that I've created. It is fluxtaposedama@gmail.com.
It's a descriptive
email.
I
said, how can I make it so that people will know the exact purpose of this email address in the name of the email itself? I said, fluxtaposedama@gmail.com. That's
the
going to
answer.
do it. So, I mean, we can set out to do this AMA as much as we want, but if we don't have questions from you, our listeners, our viewers, then it doesn't matter. So please.
Literally ask us anything. I mean, this is your chance to make Jason uncomfortable.
Jason, have you ever thought about touching Lucas's penis? And I will have to answer that question.
Truthfully.
Truthfully.
The problem with those kind of questions is any sexual things towards each other, we already know all the answers are yes. So that's not any fun.
It's a given, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
I'm right here. What are you going to do?
So please send your questions that way. We don't have a hard cap end date, really, because, I mean, since they're just going to be read to us, we can go right up to whenever we film the AMA. So just stay tuned for details on the date. Keep the questions coming. You can submit as many as you want. You can submit at least one. I was going to say it's few, but we want you to at least send one.
Please send zero questions.
And since we love you guys so much, reminder, we're having a giveaway this month, the month of December, the 14th. Do we have is the 14th
18th. I think the 18th is the drawing.
Okay. So the episode of the 18th. So you literally have 2 weeks to get yourself entered into the giveaway. Patrons, you are automatically entered. However, if you want to get your bonus patron powered entries, you do have to actually enter the giveaway itself as well.
You can't just sit around and wait until the money flows in.
Yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago.
That's what we do.
That's right. 2 weeks ago, we gave the official details. So if you haven't listened to an episode from 2 weeks ago, that has the official rules of entry. to get yourself entered. We're going to give away a physical game on that December episode of your choice. It has to be a standard issue, though. It can't be a limited steelbook.
Fallout 76
statue.
Mega Edition with the nylon bag.
Well, it's going to be a canvas bag now. That's the big.
Only because everyone complained.
So that's what we do on the internet. That's what we do. So we would love for you to enter. We want to be able to give you, your opportunity to win said item. And one last thing, patrons and all listeners of Fluxtaposed, we want you to participate in the holiday mixtape this year. That has a hard cap of, I don't remember. Lucas, what's our deadline on the mixtape?
Let me look at the calendar here.
We had said 14th, but
it's pinned in the Discord. So if you join the Discord and you look in the show talk area, it'll be in there for sure. I think it was the 14th.
I think that's what I thought in my head, the 14th. We would love to share a holiday greeting from you and yours.
So just over a week and a half.
To the Fluxtaposed holiday mixtape. It's pretty much a staple of the Fluxtaposed and the indie podcast community. People wait on bells and whistles for the Fluxtaposed holiday mixtape.
It's true.
I know you all play it to open your presents Christmas morning.
Oh, that would be awesome.
It's probably the most listened to episode because A, we don't talk, and B, there's no cursing.
Well, now we're gonna talk.
You can listen to it with your kids.
We won't curse, but we'll talk, and that'll be a problem.
Yeah. So again, we're asking for a lot. We want the community involved, but we love all you people because you've done a lot for us, and we want to continue to try to give back to all of you. And I don't know if I ever explicitly had said it on the show because we put so much focus on the AMA giveaway. We did hit that next milestone after that of the $100 goal. So we are going to be doing giveaways every month of some sort, whether it be just a gift card or digital currency to a game shop or something physical. I kind of want to sprinkle it in besides just giving like digital codes to a digital storefront. I think it'd be fun to get small physical items as gifts too. It's like some silly putty or some as seen on TV bargain bin items. I think it could really help change people's lives.
Whatever they have on sale in that one aisle of Aldi where just weird things live.
Yes, exactly. They're like brand name, but slightly knockoff, and slightly they may look like they're not any good. Yes, so stay tuned for more of that. But hey, that's all the top of the show nonsense. Let's get into this episode, and we'd like to always give you a slice of life, a little IRL, and while Lucas regales us with his tales. Yeah, because folks, there's been a lot of focus this week on how Smash Brothers is releasing on Friday, and that is a great thing. However, I've made a lot of light, but our friend Lucas here is having a somewhat major procedure done to his body on Friday.
It's not penis enlargement. Good Lord, stop asking me that.
And he's in our thoughts. He's in all our thoughts, so we want to be mindful of that.
Thoughts and prayers.
Lucas gives us his stories. I will be enjoying the official beer of one Mr. Denny Luce of the Tap the Craft podcast.
Yes.
The Oddside Ales Bean Flicker, because it's Denny's jam. I know it is.
It's a good
Cheers,
jam.
Denny.
It's delicious. Well, while you enjoy beer that I can't drink, I'll tell you, brother. Friday is the big day. Going in at 7:30. Apparently, it takes an hour and a half to do everything. I would prefer that I just show up and I just like walk up to the front desk and I'm like, "Hi, my name's Lucas," and they're like, "You're Lucas Rose?" "Yeah." "Can you sign this?" "Sure." And then they just jam a needle in my arm and I haven't even and then I just drop to the floor.
It's gonna be like that scene in Prometheus where she goes in there to get the parasite like cut out of her body, and it's like all the little arms and lasers like
God, I hope so.
Or it's going to be like on The Simpsons when Dr. Hibbert's like, "This man's appendix is about to burst." And he takes that pocket knife and he's like,
that was a pretty good impression.
That's the first time I think I ever tried it.
Probably the best time too. Every time since then. Again. Yeah. Now, if you could do the laugh.
What I was about to ask.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough.
That's bad.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go back to doing Christopher Walken, and who else can I not do?
Yoda. You can kind of do Yoda.
I'm
So So anyways,
What were we talking about again?
I don't know. God, can you imagine when pot's legal around here? Do that kind of show, and then we'll be really screwed. Yeah, so 9 o'clock, I'll be going under the knife, 9 o'clock Eastern. So you guys...
where do you have to go? Where's your procedure at?
Downtown St. Mary's.
Spectrum? St. Mary's?
St.
Okay.
Mary's one. Where my child was born, and my second child will also be born, and where I will die, apparently, because I'm convinced I'm going to die.
Hey, here's the first thing, though, I think you should have every reason to be proud about is, like, that one chody doctor was like, he's never going to make it. He's going to be going to the emergency room.
That's my doctor. That's the doctor I see Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But you really stuck it to him because, look, you're a mere days away.
Well, don't jinx it. I did eat fairly poorly the last few days.
I had a Big Mac and a deep dish.
I asked Annette,
mixed together.
I asked Annette if we could go out to McDonald's afterward because I'm just going to be completely fixed, right? Everything will be fine, and I can just go back to normal. Get a beer and a Big Mac, and I'm good.
You got to blend it. Though.
Oh God, that's right. I need a slurry. Can you make a mixed slurry?
What's the first meal like? Well, I'm assuming you're going to test the waters lightly, but once you know, like, okay, I can punish myself a little bit because you've had to eat for in theory you've had to be essentially clean eating for the most part,
or at least very small portions.
What's the one thing you want to like get dirty with right away?
French fries, probably. Honestly, I miss some French fries. Pizza's a big number 2, but I feel like that's pushing it. I mean, a big thing of cheese basically is I think would be a bad idea. But French fries, I feel like I could probably pull off. So maybe some crack fries from Hobcat. Oh my God, that would be awesome with the dipping cheese. The only time I allowed cheese on my fries instead of some sort of gourmet ketchup.
I like it.
Yeah, I would love to. I don't see, and that's the question. Donuts. I wouldn't mind a donut too. I do miss donuts, although I don't eat them that often.
Have you ever had a Hertz donut?
I've had a gigahertz donut.
I'm dumb.
That's why I love you. So anyways, 9 o'clock is when I'll be under, and I should be anesthetized, and should be about an hour and a half. And then I'll probably be like, I'll wake up out of a coma, and I'll be like, where's my phone? I got to get on Discord and let everyone know I'm okay. Selfie from the hospital, from the surgery room. Oh, do you think I could talk all the surgeons and the anesthesiologist to like take a selfie with me like moments before?
Could I live stream this?
Yeah, God. I brought my GoPro. Is that okay? Oh, that would be horrible. Can you beam the live footage from the surgery into Discord directly so my friends can watch along?
It's yeah.
I hope they shrink themselves. That's how they're gonna do it. They're gonna get in a they're gonna shrink themselves and get a very small.
It's gonna be like inner space.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna get lost in my left aorta. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm scared, and I just really hope. I just keep thinking, like I told you, I'm going to feel better afterwards, and I won't be a ticking time bomb, and I won't have to explain why I'm not eating. Like, Thanksgiving was kind of terrible in the sense that I had to go, like, everyone's like, why aren't you eating so much? Oh, you've really lost weight, because I don't see my family that often, at least my extended family, and it's like, then you got to go through the whole rigmarole and be like, yeah, I'm having gallbladder surgery, blah, 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 and oh, I hope you're okay after eating this. And I'm like, well, that's why I'm not eating a bunch of it. Trust me, I want to. Stop bringing it up. I know they're just concerned for me, but screw them. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, that's that. That's that in a nutshell. I just keep thinking I'll be okay once I get on the other side. Once I go under the anesthesia, I won't care anyways. And then I'm going to have like a whole weekend of just drugs basically, because I'm going to be under anesthesia and pain meds. And then I'm going to get woken up, and then they'll probably give me pain meds again, cause I'm sure it'll hurt. And then I'm going to go to the pharmacy, and I'm going to go get pain meds. And then I'm gonna go.
You're gonna break on through to the other side.
That's right. It's gonna be like that scene in that movie about the Doors where they go out to the desert and do like a bunch of peyote or whatever the hell it was, opiates. So, and then the other thing is, before I died, Mike asked me if I would help him build a computer, and
I'm a computer.
And I said yes. I said yes to the computer, and so I got to live vicariously through him and spend his money on a computer, and we built a computer, a beautiful silver, black, and white design that he dubbed the Dark Star, which I said if I'd known you were going to go with the Dark Star, I wouldn't have put so much white in there. But he said it is okay because it's based off from a spaceship from Babylon 5.
You want some contrast, though. If it was just pure black,
Yeah, well, that'd be easy. Then you just make sure there's no LEDs in there. Then it's just pure black, regardless of what color it is. So
yeah.
He's a minimalist kind of guy, and I knew that, and I wanted to make sure that he was happy with it and, didn't have LEDs and RGB lights everywhere blinding him. And now he's literally live in the chat on the very computer that we made. Isn't life funny? Isn't that weird how that happens?
Life is funny. Life is funny like that.
Life finds a way. So we had a good old time with that, except for, I got to tell you the dumb stories. I got to throw them right under the bus. What was the first one? So... Well, we were having problems because we got him a Corsair case, and much
can't
like
connect my R to my GB.
Much like the new cases, all of them have. You mount most of the hard drives in the SSD drives in the back where all the wire management goes, and we were just having a hell of a time trying to figure out how to mount this hard drive, this SSD, and still be able to feed the cable because the cable. The way it wanted to plug in, all of the cables, so they're vertically mounted. So you want to plug in the cable, and the cable connection is fine, but the cable runs out from the bottom of the connection. So it kind of comes down and then goes straight instead of being like a straight connector, like an electrical cord. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Imagine if your electrical cord went down from the plug instead of straight out. So this was constantly pushing up against the back of the case. We couldn't really get it to click in because it was getting pressure pushed on it from the case. So we dinked around with that for forever. Then his RAM, for some reason, it didn't want to click in. It was really hard to press down. And I don't know if you've ever had this, but it feels like you're breaking your computer when you install RAM because you really want it to click in. So, that's the last thing I wanted to do was just be like, hey, let's build a computer and then break it on the second step or whatever. So that was a problem. And then it turned out
GPUs, heat sinks, RAM. Yeah, all the above. Feels like I'm going to stamp my motherboard in half.
The only thing that's nice is the CPU because that just kind of sits in the hole and then you just pull down.
But then you're like,
thing.
okay, when I pull that lever, it's just going to snap the CPU in half.
It just breaks. Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. And then he gets it home. Now, granted, it was like 1:30 in the morning, but I remember seeing something on the motherboard that made me take note, and I was like, this is going to be a problem later. So he goes to hook it up, and he texts me at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just laying in bed because I was still up for some ungodly reason.
You're like just laying in bed like, I just built a computer.
I built a computer.
Got to rub one out because I can't sleep.
It's all white and black and gray all over.
That cable management.
I told them, take a look at these fans because these fans will never look like this ever again once these are installed.
You want to see what a shitty cable management looks like inside a case? Look at my PC case. It's bad.
Everything you manage is bad.
There's nothing you can do because it's just.
You got an older case.
That's the biggest improvement I think they've made in case design. I love it. I love that.
A simple putting in tie down locations where they're just little holes that are raised from the where the motherboard sits and everything does wonders so that you can have a spot to tie everything down with some zip ties. But anyways, he takes it home and he hooks it up at 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning. He's like, I'm not getting a video signal. And we had that problem when we first started the computer because the RAM wasn't seated all the way and it didn't want to turn on. It didn't want to do anything. It didn't want to post at all. And so I was like, okay, well, check your RAM, you know, just do what we did before. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's too late. I got to go to bed. So he goes to bed and he's checking it out the next day and he's looking it over and he's like, I don't know, maybe I just have a bad VGA cord. And I said,
It's
I was like,
possible.
Well, yes, it would be possible if the video card had a VGA plug on it.
Oh,
I said,
then it's not possible.
I said, well, that video card doesn't have a VGA plug on it. So what are you doing there, bud? He says, oh, I'm plugged into the motherboard. Dumb me. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what I saw. Because they have these motherboards that have onboard for your CPU. For your
and once
CPU.
you put his GPU in it, overrides all those.
that. Yep. So I was like, oh, Michael, you silly goose. I'm going to tell everybody about this on the podcast. And so I did just now.
That's awesome.
Michael comes to his defense by saying, remember, I'm a real dum-dum when it comes to computers. That's true because he asked me to help build him one. So clearly he does not have any experience when it comes to computers.
Right.
So those are my stories, man. Tell me what you've been up to.
Yeah. You know, we talk about computer stuff and I'm always like, I want to improve my computer. But as we always discuss, it's the law of diminishing returns that comes into play with my computer because really there's no point in investing any money into my computer because I'm not going to get much out of it. Like mine is perfectly adequate still. However, any significant upgrade would require a full-fledged rebuild at this point, except for the video card. I could use the video card, but really I think at this point would need. I mean the power supply is fine. It's just a mess of Octopath travelers in there. There's so much like cabling and it's everywhere, but that's besides the point. It always happens. So Lucas, you had expressed that you did not like these and I had ordered them on Cyber Monday and they came in the Amazon Fire HD 4K sticks. That's what I have.
Oh, I see. I did not have the 4K sticks.
These support they support 4K and HDR and whatever the heck all those stuff is that I don't care about because I don't have it.
You'll care about it when you have it.
Yeah, maybe someday. So we got 2 of them. We gave the second set to my in-laws, and it's nifty, man. After having to use like Chromecast all the time, this thing is just so much better.
Oh, I bet.
It actually connects to my primary Wi-Fi network and uses it, so that's an improvement. And it's just snappy. Problem with the Chromecast, you have to use the phone and cast it there, and you use your phone as the remote, and then the phone would just lose connection, and you have to reconnect, wait for it to connect. Half the time it would never reconnect, so you have to completely close everything down, reopen it, hope it would sync. It was just a pain in the butt. It's so nice just to be able to use the remote, push a button, things load up instantly. I can skip intros instantly. There's no loading. The voice remote is really kind of slick because you can just say what you want to watch and it'll pull it up and find it. And all the things I use are on there. There's a Twitch app. There's, I didn't have Amazon Instant Video. I'd have to use my smart TV for that. Now I can use my streaming stick for it. YouTube works via browser. That's not a big deal. Hulu's on there. All the things. So watched a bunch of shows on it. Love it. Works great. No issues. For people that are interested, I don't think I'm going to do this. It is possible to side load apps on there. So yes, if you wanted to, you can put Cody on there. For those, I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know what Cody does. I don't know why you'd want to do that. But that option is there for people. It works great though. Really happy with the purchase. I like them.
Good.
They're nice.
I didn't mind them. I didn't mind them when I had them. What
was the issue you were having with it, though? You said it didn't work. It wasn't working right for you.
It would I would click on apps and they wouldn't open. It would just freeze, or it would just close out of the app. I don't remember because I haven't had it for a while, but it was something to do with the apps. And isn't there? It didn't at the time. It didn't play Google stuff or something. I don't remember something that they were kind of in competition with. So it kind of made sense.
I'm sure.
I think it was Google Play or something. Not a huge deal, but of course, it's not a huge deal until you actually have a way of using it, and then you're like, "Oh, great!" Now I can.
That's the problem I had. Most of my rentals would be through Google Play, but now I can just use Amazon for everything. And
yeah, they work good too, anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
The thing. So, really happy with it. I would recommend them. And then my other big Cyber Week purchase was, as I talked about, was shaving soap and shaving bowls, and I've gone further into the hipster shaving
Oh
routine.
gosh,
And
you're going down the rabbit hole.
I really enjoy it though. I mean, it's something about like I ended up. Well, here's the problem though. So I had shaving soap, and I didn't really understand the proper way to use shaving soap. Like, there's a whole technique and process for building a lather that I had no idea. So literally, I started going down to YouTube rabbit hole of watching these old dudes tell me how to shave on YouTube because my dad never told me how.
Well, the problem is that in his generation, I would imagine the new thing was the quick, like your typical quick razor and your regular foaming cream. Like all that stuff was new to him. So why do it the old way?
I know it's probably weird, but I really enjoy it the old fashioned way, man. I've gotten much better shave with less irritation, and it's just, I don't know. It's like it's all about treat yourself. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta
feel good.
you gotta have that you gotta have that me time, you know. And I don't know, something about
now we're talking about something else.
Yeah, something about just the process of using the brush and building the lather and all that stuff. I don't know, I just really enjoy it. It's like one of those simple things in life. But self care is an important thing. So
plus all that stuff smells really good.
Yeah, it's true. So I got like, I don't know. Well, unfortunately, I have a bunch of samples, but I couldn't get the samples were all sold out. So I had to get. I just rolled the dice on a couple of brands I've never tried before, and I didn't realize until I got them. I got the same scent on both soaps, which is called Bay Rum, but it's good stuff. I don't mind it. But
I've had some Bay Rum soap. It's good.
Yeah, I kind of wish I didn't have two of the same, but now I'm going to experiment, maybe and buy some different blades from different places. Like I have. I think they're both Russian. The blades I have right now are from Russia, and I think the ones I'm looking at are also going to be from Russia. So it's kind of weird.
Interesting.
In Soviet Union, blades cut you cut blades, right?
Something like that.
Something like that. So, and that's really it. I did get a chance to talk on it during the top of the show, but I'm going to mention this here, and the other point is the other one I really want to mention. The gaming historian Robin, what's his name? Norman Caruso. Just released a video today called "The History of Punch-Out." 48 minutes long, so a little lengthy video, but very good. I really enjoy his long form videos and very informative. A lot of stuff about Punch-Out I had no idea about. Talking about its whole creation for the arcades and then development for ports and the NES and then versions up to the Wii version. So really good. I highly recommend you check that out. We'll put links in the show notes. And Lucas, we hadn't talked about it, and I don't. Maybe I'd mentioned it to you, and I don't know if you saw it on social media, but a good friend of the show, Sean Capri, made the decision this past week to he does a podcast that you and I have both appeared on. You've heard us talk about before, We the Gamercast. He has made the decision to shut down We the Gamercast. That I know that was not an easy decision for you, Sean. I know why you've done it. And much like myself, I had to step away from If We Were Nintendo. I'm no longer appearing on that show any longer due to reasons. So what we call this Sunday was Bloody Sunday, because not only did it become public knowledge that I was done with If We Were Nintendo, Sean's like, yep, I'm done with We the Gamercast as well. It's not, Sean's still podcasting. He still does If We Were Nintendo with Bobby. He still does the Xbox Drive with Luke Lore. So I don't think, who knows? Maybe we the Gamercast could be resurrected in the future. We'll see. But I know that wasn't easy for you, Sean. So our thoughts are with you, man. So that's IRL.
On that note,
let's sprinkle some holiday cheer. In what better way to celebrate the holidays than a little Christmas? The Christmas Chronicles on Netflix. That is our Netflixation this week. It's a festive holiday movie, a Netflix original starring Snake Plissken himself, Kurt Russell, as Kris Kringle, Santa Claus Popo Gijo.
Saint Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we the quick synopsis. These kids are typical a brother-sister conflict about belief and loss of a father causes some strife in the family. The young sister, very much a believer in Santa Claus. The older brother is into mischief, a troublemaker. Santa Claus shows up on Christmas Eve, they ruin Christmas, and then they go off on an adventure with Santa Claus to save Christmas, to rebuild the sleigh, to find his sack of gifts and his missing hat, which allows him the magical
It's a fetch quest.
Magical properties to deliver gifts all in one night. And they do all these things, and will they save Christmas? That is the question.
I wish they did.
That's your 20-second synopsis.
Nice.
Of Christmas Chronicles.
I have very specific
on Netflix.
Feelings about this movie and very specific scenes that happen where I wrote things down because this was just ridiculous. It was silly.
I'm going to go into this with a preface. Have you ever watched a Hallmark Channel Christmas movie before?
Maybe not a Hallmark one, but I know that they're way worse. I've seen parts of the Princess. Not the Princess Bride. What the hell is it called? The one from last year that Netflix did that everyone was raving about.
Yeah, I didn't
Christmas
watch it.
Prince. That's what it was. Christmas Prince. Yeah, I thought Jessica watched it.
No.
I could have swore she did. But yeah, that was the big Netflix the big Netflix one that everyone was talking about. So, and that one was just as bad, if not worse. Oh God. Oh yeah. There's something going down. There's something that's been going down in the air.
Do you want to address?
We just need to address it right now because you haven't talked about it, but it's come up multiple times, and I think you should just we'll put this on hold. And there's basically it's a.
Well, let's ask this. Dude 4247 asked in chat, where can I get tickets for Bad Bit versus Jason? That's what stemmed this question for you listeners that are listening to this. So, Lucas, sorry. Continue.
I was just going to say, it's like an old-timey boxing match where there's like 2 months of ramping up for the big night, and now you're on the title card. It's Jason versus Bad Bit, and I like how he used your name, but not. So, Fluxtaposed versus Bad Bit in Smash Brothers at some point when it comes out. There's got to be some time for you to play. You have said, you can't get in the training room as much as you want. Oh, jeez.
Joseph is here.
It's a good thing we started talking about it. So this is going down. I don't know when. There hasn't been a date set, but you two are going at it. I'm going to be your promoter, clearly.
I don't need any more promoters. I've already had Donnie Reese promoting me for a year and a half. Now Bobby Paul's the Nintendo guru. I mean, if you stray away from Twitter from any amount of time, you'll come back and you don't know what's going to happen. There's these videos dropping left and right. There's call outs happening. I mean, it's
there's more allies and rivals than
there's
wrestling.
Dress shopping happening.
I saw that.
There's so many things going on. So we had to, and then so dude wanted to know where he could get tickets. I was like, well, the only place, patreon.com/Fluxtaposed. I mean, that's the only sensible place where tickets would be sold.
We have the spectator mode now in Smash, and so PSVG plays Smash is what, the 15th? Yeah, the 15th. Seems like a pretty good time for that to go down. Match of the night. Best of 3. 5 stock. Only E-tier characters. Clearly, I'm out of my depth. I don't know what I'm talking about, but these are things that I know are said. How do you feel about all that? I need to know that you both agree.
Are you my Don King? Is that what you are?
I'm whatever you need me to be. You said you didn't need a promoter.
Well, you are the voice of the people.
The voice of the people. That's right.
I will, if you can talk like Macho Man Rodney Savage the whole time, rest in peace.
Thoughts and prayers.
Listen here, brother. They're gonna go to Hyrule Castle, and they're gonna.
I ran out of content because you giggled.
You ran out of content fast.
I'm gonna go up on the top rope and I'm gonna lay the smack down. Oh yeah! Flying elbows for everybody.
I love the motion.
Well, because you got it. That's how he was. Dude was on cocaine all the time or something.
Oh, the cocaine feels good.
I mean, that'll
I snorted through my nose.
That'll do it.
Uh-oh. Friday night, 9 p.m. at Guro's Twitch. How about that? He's calling you out.
Well,
Times have been set. Places have been set.
Friday night. It started at 6 p.m. at my work Christmas party. So I don't know if you know when I'm getting home.
I was bringing that. I was going to say there have been talks that you have not been training or you will not be able to train in the way that you normally would for such a fight.
Let alone train, but I don't even know when I'm going to get home. And I mean, if I'm doing a Christmas party right,
you're going to drink some eggnog.
I can get an Uber ride home, you know.
There might be a little bit of rum in there.
So we'll figure it out. It all will be figured out. Lucas, let's get back to
back to Christmas.
Christmas Chronicles.
Christmas Chronicles.
Tis the season.
Oh yeah,
brother.
Speaking of characters that are larger than life, Mr. Kurt Russell. Okay, so we were talking about. I've not really seen. I've seen cheesy. I mean, everyone knows the cheesy Hallmark Christmas movies. Like, there's definitely more than enough cheesy movies on Netflix. I named half of them when we were talking about what we were going to watch. I will say, I will preface this with, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, especially in a few departments. I do have some good things to say about this movie, if you can believe it. So don't think I'm just going to poo-poo on it because I went to art school or film school and art school.
Well,
went to art school and then I went to film school.
The trailer specifically, you're expecting a lot of cringeworthy moments where it's just like, and that does happen. That does happen along the way. But
well, trailers are particularly bad for that anyway, so that doesn't help.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's face it here. Art direction, things of that nature, I think those go out of the window because I think Christmas movies are specifically in a whole different category because it's usually just to help capture the essence of Christmas, usually convey a message about Christmas, of whether, family or love or the spirit of giving.
I don't know though, because there were those are some of the things I had positive about it actually, were the visual, or were not the visuals, but some of the set dressing. I thought the Santa suit actually was pretty cool.
Well, let's talk about that because that's like let's go talk about the actual look. The look, or let's just even say the character design of Santa. It was something that we haven't. It was a style and a direction that we haven't seen.
Yeah.
In, I would say, other films. He's not the stereotypical bigger, overweight, puffy white beard,
90 years old.
Yeah.
Didn't have a white beard. Didn't have white hair. He kind of reminded me of a Canadian Mountie a little bit because the fur was like real fur and it was like that red, but it was kind of a deeper, darker red. I liked his outfit actually. And he also said he has that mentality where he doesn't say ho, 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 and that type of thing, or gets mad about how he's portrayed on Coke cans and stuff. I mean, it wasn't Coke, but it wasn't Coke. It was Coke.
But it was Coke.
It was cola.
Nuka-Cola.
They use that font that makes you know that it's supposed to be Coca-Cola.
It's RC Cola.
Ooh, Royal Crown. More like Royal Crap. Because it tastes so bad. What'd you think of the suit? Did you like it? Did you think it was a decent direction?
I did. I would say that. I don't know how far I want to jump ahead here because they did take. I did like that, and I did like a lot of the different takes we've seen because you think about Santa in a movie, and you think of the most represented would be probably like the Santa Claus in recent history.
Yeah. That's what I think of,
and that's more of a very traditional kind of Santa and story. What are your thoughts? Because here's where I'm just going to jump way ahead, and something they took a pretty big, distinct difference from the regular lore of Santa Claus, but that would be with the portrayal of the elves.
Oh my God. I felt like what I said when I first saw them was, of course they have to look like trolls or, you know, one of these little creatures that I feel like they want to make toys out of or something, or it appeals to the kids.
They're like a cross
like
between
animals.
a monkey and did they have beaks? I don't remember. No, they had mouths, I think.
Some of them were different because some had
they were more like
and
critters, and they had like a monkey's tail, and they spoke. I wasn't sure if it was like a cross between like
it was
like
Spanglish.
Tolkien Elvish and Scandinavian. That's what it seemed like. It was like if you mix Swedish Chef with Tolkien, that's like the language they spoke.
Nice. It was a little bit weird. Yeah, I don't know. It was I don't even know if it was their design. It was more of their function that was a problem for me because, you know, of course they have to attack people, and the one wields a chainsaw, and
he was gonna chop off that kid's genitals with a chainsaw. I mean,
yeah,
that
was
got dark
cool.
there.
Yeah, that part I was okay with. I was kind of hoping it was going to happen.
You know, at first that bothered me, but then I guess I appreciate the willingness to take a risk like that because we always see elves the same way in everything.
Yeah.
So I guess I have to appreciate that you took a risk to try to do something different. But I liked what we saw, like, because you see the same setup, but I really liked like how they kind of set out their different lore and how they tried to what they used to explain how Santa does his thing, like what technology was on the sleigh.
Yeah, like
to
when
enable
they go
him to travel, like the northern lights, or like his light speed, essentially. And I think that was interesting how the sleigh worked, and then with the elves, and then the whole anomaly of the bag and what the bag was, and how that connected with the toy shop was interesting.
And
then
it looked good too, surprisingly. Like it looked a lot better than I was expecting, except for some of the flying looked a little weird, especially with the real characters. But and the part where she falls down,
the reindeer were a little.
The reindeer didn't bother me as much, except for one scene when they were outside the bar or something. The lighting there was like yellowish, and they stood out really bad. After that, as long as you couldn't see them standing.
Quick side note: Bad Bit asked Kurt Russell, hottest Santa?
By far. I would date him in a second.
He can come to my town. If you know what I'm saying.
The musical number, he'll sing you a song. How'd you feel about that? You like
what
that?
did you think? No,
No,
that was
either.
like that whole scene. I was just kind of like,
And then it kept going.
I did appreciate how they had Steve Van Zandt playing a guitar.
Yeah, I thought I recognized him.
I don't know. I didn't like search up anybody else. Was any other members of the E Street Band in that scene?
I assumed so, but I wasn't able to. Actually, identify
Max Weinberg wasn't playing drums. I know that much.
That's true. Oh boy, yeah, that was bad when they start singing. I mean, I feel like there's got to be singing in this at some point.
Pretty baby.
Yeah, but it was so cheesy. And the worst part is I bet kids just love this stuff.
Movie where there's a kid, and then like the cops are like, "Oh man, yeah, this is great." They're getting into it, and they always got it's. Ugh.
I will say, if anyone was going to do that, it was going to be Kurt Russell, because he basically saved this movie as far as I'm concerned.
He owned it, right?
Oh, yeah. He almost took it back out the other way and made it cool again.
Yeah, like going into the trailer though, I wasn't sure about Kurt Russell in this, but then after watching it, I was like, I really enjoyed Kurt Russell.
He had the line where he was like, "Hope you like Cole." After the guy because the people in the restaurant were like really mean, actually. That was funny. And he like had this aside where he says, "Hope you like Cole" or whatever. And little lines like that are what kind of saved his Santa Claus, I feel like, was that he was able to have a little bit of sense of humor, and it wasn't just goody all the time.
How'd you like the cameo at the end
with his wife?
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out who it was, and I figured that Danette actually said it was his wife before she turned around. My wife called almost all of the things before they happened. The bag getting sucked in the bag, the dad dying, the wife, all sorts of stuff. She was like, "This is going to happen." And I was like, "Have you seen this before? What the hell's going on?" So that tells you about how I was like, Well, it can really only go one way. Like it's a Christmas movie and it's a kids movie. It's not like somebody's just there's not gonna be a red wedding scene all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But she called a lot of the stuff that happened.
I'm kind of, this is a little different movie that I feel like to break down than how we typically do things. And, I knew like some of the stuff with the kids were, was like cringeworthy to watch. And like the typical disgruntled teen type story acting out. That while that stuff was a bit predictable, and there's a lot of scenes that were difficult, and but in the whole movie is probably largely cheese. I couldn't, I was still laughing at the jokes.
I laughed a couple times.
I still had a fun time watching this because I feel like movies like this, you just have to say, you know what, you throw everything out the window and you just have to embrace it for what it is. Because I've watched a handful of the Hallmark movies, and they're much more difficult,
miles away.
They're
imagine
hard to get through sometimes, and just the acting's at a different caliber, the writing's at a different caliber, and a lot of them tend to just have the same story regurgitated and slightly twisted.
No, I think you had it right. Regurgiturded.
Regurgiturded.
I think we just named this episode.
Regurgiturded. I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget it.
Set it and forget it. Probably the weakest part of this movie, though, was the kids. If you want to talk about Hallmark, I feel bad because the young girl, I think she did a really good job of showing excitement and stuff like that. I think the problem was the lines they were given to say.
Yeah, I would agree with that because it was like George Lucas lines every once in a while. It's just like but I felt like
are you an angel?
Her energy and everything, considering I'm sure what her age was, I thought was fitting. And the same thing I think could be said about the actor who played her brother. You're just stuck with the, oh, I hate you, you're ruining my life type of stuff.
I know they can't do this, but I'm sorry. If that kid was stealing cars, he'd be like on drugs, and that household would be a broken home. And that mom apparently never sleeps because she got home from work and then she turned around and went, sorry, I gotta go right back to work.
I think the last movie I remember seeing her in is like Father of the Bride 1 and 2.
I think,
and she looks like she's aged like 0 since then.
No, she's a vampire. Hollywood vampire. Yeah. By the way, here's the real question. Okay, so mom leaves and she says, first of all, you got to remember, take the cookies out in 20 minutes. What kind of cookies take 20 minutes to bake? I've never baked a sugar cookie that takes more than 10 minutes. Okay? Not my life. So 20 minutes is a little suspect, first of all. And then no one turned them off. They fell asleep while they were trying to catch Santa Claus. And I just want to mention, too, that apparently if all it takes is to just set up a video camera to catch Santa Claus, then this must have happened many, many, many times.
Maybe Santa wanted them to catch him.
That's gross.
Also, at 10:30 at night, the entire city in Maine was asleep. No one else saw this giant sleigh hovering.
Yeah, and in Chicago, there was like nobody there except for those 4 bad guys who just show up and say, "We're gonna."
Not nearly enough murders.
We're going to. That's true. Not enough people.
Deuterino
screaming.
says 420 cookies take 20 minutes.
Oh no, they take 420 seconds.
Lucas will confirm that in a couple years.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, that was a really big problem for me, was the cookies. That's all I could think about is their house is burning down. But also the 4 guys in the park, they go from we want to steal this bag to committing kidnapping immediately.
We're going to murder you and throw you in a wood chipper.
We're going to throw you in the compost heap, not the trash, not the recycling.
Hey,
forget about it. Terrible. Yeah. So, the other bad thing with the kids specifically, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
The flying scene when they're by themselves.
On Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer.
Who are you riding? I'm riding Comet. I'm riding Vixen. Christmas. It's great. It's like
I'm just holding the antlers.
Sometimes I like to watch movies like this and I wonder what the first scene that was filmed is, because usually it's like the weakest sometimes. And I feel like that might have been it.
That was
just like, get him in the closet. We can put up a green screen real quick and pretend like you're riding this animal. Do not take everything I just said out of context, because that'll sound horrible.
Jessica and I did the breakdown of reindeer portrayals on screen over the years. We had Prancer, set in Michigan.
Oh,
TV movie where it was a real animal.
wow.
Then we have Santa Claus, which I believe was a mix of real and animatronic. And then now we're just all CGI. Or CG, I should say.
They looked okay when close up. Like the eyes and stuff looked okay, but when they look like they're supposed to be standing on ground or flying or anything like that, they just pop right out of the screen.
It's tough, man. The uncanny valley is such a troublesome thing, and I think the huge thing is for me when it's something CG, if it doesn't what it's compared and supposed to be used in real life is textures and lighting, because that's what'll really blatantly make something say like that's not real, or that's not there.
For sure, especially
it's like if you go back and look at episode 1 now, like look at the texture and like the sharpness of, there's just like a dullness sometimes to a computer graphic character, and it really makes it just like talking about the elves again. There's like a dullness to them, and they make them stand out from their environment. Yeah,
and they're too colorful too. The elves, they look really colorful compared to everything else. So, which makes sense, but when it's overly so, then they just they pop out.
But again, I'm sorry, but I took all those things. I just went, whatever. I'm having fun. It's Christmas.
I did,
and here's what I'll take this in as is because, I've never been a Scrooge anyway. I've always enjoyed Christmas moderately, but ever since I had a kid, and it's
enjoy Christmas in moderation.
Each year it multiplies. Now that I have a kid of my own, like I can't wait.
Oh yeah, dude.
I'm sure. I love this. Is probably now going to be my favorite holiday, and I just can't wait for him to experience things and to share moments with him. So I eat this stuff up. We listen to Christmas music every day. I'm like, yes, give me the Christmas.
I will agree with that because I've never been a Scrooge either, but it's kind of fallen by the wayside for me as far as my excitement. I mean, I'm excited or whatever, but it's not. I was never super excited for going to all of the family stuff and all the stuff that surrounds it, I guess.
I just want to play Dark Age of Camelot.
I want my presents, and then I want to go to my room.
I gotta play Shadowrun and Dark Age. I got a paladin to take care of business.
Just put my presents on the floor. I'll open them whenever I feel like.
I'm actually been playing Counter-Strike. I like the bullpup. What are you? Oh, you use an op? You would, you son of a bitch.
I don't know why this turned into that, but I love it. But I will agree that, something like this, I gets me in the mood more. And it helps that I will say it's not that bad. You could definitely have a lot worse when it comes. I would rather watch this than the old claymation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and all that stuff.
I can't wait to show Aiden that crap.
I have never liked that. And I've told Danette
Herbie doesn't like to make toys. I mean, that's classic.
What is it? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The something with the Day Without Santa Claus.
Yeah, Day Without Santa Claus.
Or something.
I really only watched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but I just knew of all the other ones because they're all made by the same company.
Yes.
You don't like the Cold Miser?
I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. 101.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Donations.
I don't. And I hate It's a Wonderful Life. I guess I am a Scrooge.
Well, every time a bell rings, an angel wings.
God.
Yeah.
No, wait just a darn minute.
Oh, yeah. Watch that movie and you watch, man, Jimmy Stewart hates his wife and his kids. That's like the whole first half of the movie. It's like he just hates his kids and his life and his wife, and he hates everything.
It must be based on real life then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Why he kind of, if you're not too careful, he turns into Jerry Seinfeld really quickly. Why do my fingers look like tiny people?
Yeah.
Why do my fingers look like tiny people? I'm just going to keep doing this.
No.
Why do my fingers?
So I mean, I don't really have a whole lot more to say because when we
what
first
can
talked
you
about,
say?
When we first talked about that we were going to do this, I was thinking, oh god, this is going to be terrible. And then like some of the guys in the Discord had watched it. I think Kevin had watched it right away. I don't remember if Josh had tried. Didn't Josh try to watch it? And he just, I can't remember. I'd have to go through our Discord.
Remember.
But so I was like, this isn't going to be good. But based on what I had tried to watch the night before, which we'll cover in my What You Plan, and I've been banned from picking movies now.
I thought you were already banned from
this
that.
was my wife's pick, and then we both really liked. Like Jessica really loved it, had a lot of fun with it. I think it's just the spirit of the holiday. That's what it's supposed to be about. And this just goes along with it, and I really enjoyed it. So
you're saying you would recommend it?
Call me a bad movie watching person, and I have no taste, and I'm just this is why Fluxtaposed bad reviews, because they just got basic bitch Jason who just likes the bare minimum.
I bet you were drinking your Christmas spice latte while you were watching it too.
Well, here's the thing: what I'm jealous of that I couldn't do that you did. You got to sit down and you got to watch your son watch this.
He was in. Did you see the picture? I forgot about that. Did you see the picture? The dang kid was glued to the television, and he hates watching anything new. He just wants to watch the same Curious George and PJ Masks
so it's
now.
Stuff like that. I'm all about making our traditions of our own, and we already have some we're going to start doing with him. But if it is available and we can watch the Christmas Chronicles each year with him, I'm okay with that.
I think there is a time and place for a movie like this, and Christmas time is fine. You know what? If you like this movie for Christmas, that's fine. I have no problem with it. I won't call you out on it. I think like I said, I think there's a lot worse you could pick than this. And honestly, it just wasn't really that bad. I mean, it wasn't the greatest thing I've ever seen, mostly because the plot really is the same as most movies where they have to save Christmas. Even what was it? What was the Will Ferrell one? Elf? Even that basically was about saving Christmas and turning people into believers.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not writing a Christmas movie for kids is got to be hard. How do you not make a Christmas movie about that you want mass appeal, right? But I feel like this one's okay. I actually could say, you know what? If you're looking for a Christmas movie, not everyone's going to like it. Not everyone wants to feel Christmas ooey gooey, lovey, squishy feelings. But if you do, then this is a good choice. This isn't that bad, honestly. And Netflix movies have come a long way too, because I think that's partially why we were just like, oh boy, this is gonna be bad.
I would happily add this to my Christmas library that would consist of Home Alone, Home Alone 2, Four Christmases, Christmas with the Cranks. That's what we watch like all the time if they're on. Are those so
nice?
We'll put that in. I think that fits in right there. So there you go, a holiday recommendation from Fluxtaposed to you. Happy Bar Mitzvah. Now let's take an overclocked remix break. We've talked for a while, and as promised,
this is an overclocked remix break.
As promised last week, our remix this week comes from Super Smash Bros. Melee. It's a fighting game for friends on the Nintendo GameCube.
Oh crap! I forgot we were doing that. Now I gotta find it.
Your parents help you hook it up. Isn't that what all the game ads
gosh, that's right. Today? Yes. Ask your parents to help you hook it up. Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna cut a Fluxtaposed promo. Yes, that's fine.
Sunday.
Our remix this week it comes from Super Smash Bros. Melee. It's called Together We Fly. Our remixer is Prism, Pryzm, because that's the elite man Hacksaw way you get it done. Of course, this game is Super Smash Bros. Melee, released in 2001 by Nintendo and HAL Labs on the GameCube. This features the Fire Emblem theme in
how dare they
the song. So be that as it may, it's a march, it's a rock, it is 4 minutes long, so fits there. Smash Brothers Melee is a fighting game that's really hung around
mascot fighting
long time, and I'm hoping that I don't think anything's going to ever unseat Melee. I think there's always going to be people that are like, Melee is the best Smash Brothers, and that's all there is to it.
I think this is going to, because I'll tell you why. Not because of the game, but because of how you can play it. Like, we have a pretty good community to play this with. I even said I've never owned a Smash game, or a Nintendo console, really. So I never was into Smash except for playing it with you when I came over the handful of times I've actually played it. Now, though, I'm into it. We've got like 5 people from that we just know that we can get on with and play whenever, along with everybody else.
I think this one has, like, let's face it, Smash Brothers for the Wii U was limited by the fact it was on the Wii U. Nobody owned the Wii U. I mean, the
It's
Switch has
dragged down into the
a much
mire.
larger install base, is much more popular of a console. And really, I mean, like if you look back at like Melee, I mean, the GameCube didn't have a big install base either. So that I feel like, even Melee was limited there. So, yeah, I have high hopes. I mean, I think at least it's going to be very prominently featured. And yeah, it's just been fun to play. So we are going to play this remix. It's, again, Together We Fly. And if you like this remix, you can find it and so much more at ocremix.org. You want to play it? We'll come back.
Wow.
Did we do it?
I
Did
was
we make it?
filled. I listened to that song and I was filled with determination.
Are we on the other side?
We're on the other side.
I'll just play that as I do frame data study all night long.
All night long.
All night.
You were waiting for me to do the next part, weren't you? All
Yeah.
night long.
All night. Yeah,
All
I like that
night.
mix. I like it. There's some good Smash remixes
All
on there.
night, all
That's one of them. But now, guys, it's time for what you playing.
Woohoo! That's Mario.
Oh,
Oh,
Kevin.
that's Mario.
Wee woo. Kevin Austin gets all the props because his cheer has the funny face. Funny face.
I like what you did there. I see what you did.
All right, Lucas, I'm going to power through this real quick
Power.
because I haven't played. Truth be told, I haven't played. I don't remember the last time I played a game. It's been a while. Since I think the last game I played was Destiny 2, actually, which we should probably play that at some time. I watched Christmas Chronicles, which we already discussed. Then, because I was continuing to test out my Fire, the first thing I watched on my Fire Stick, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's like I just got the feeling for Raiders, so I watched Raiders. But then on Sunday, I watched. It's been in my queue forever. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch it. I was in the mood for like some weird documentary, The Power of Grayskull.
I've seen this.
A history of He-Man and Masters of the Universe. It talks about.
You couldn't get enough from the
Toys That Made
Us.
Nope. So it's a full history of the the development and creation of He-Man at Mattel through the cartoon from I can't remember the name of the studio that made that, through the cancellation, and this includes She-Ra and the Princess of Power, plus the cancellation, then the relaunch, the sci-fi relaunch that happened, then the cancellation, and then the whole relaunch into where it's at, the brand is at now. Very interesting, like in terms of how they created it and the history that went behind it. I love the line where it's like, by the time they get done making Castle Grayskull, it's like, this thing's $20, nobody's gonna buy it. And I'm just thinking, because I remember that toy being around, and I can't remember what $20 was like back in 1983, 85. I'm assuming $20. Yeah, give me the. I'm gonna guess that $20, then the equivalent, adjusted for inflation, was probably got to be similar.
What do you want?
70,
84, 86?
Give me 84.
20. What were you gonna guess?
I was gonna say like around $80.
Ooh, too high. Too high.
Ooh.
Inflation calculator has this 20. Sorry, I wanted to make sure I was doing the right calculation here. In other words, $20 in 1984 is equivalent in purchasing power to $48.68 in 2018.
Okay, because originally when I was watching, I was thinking, okay, I just kind of imagined it was like around $50, but I was thinking that doesn't really seem like that luxurious of an item.
But it's probably one of the first large play sets that would cost that. I'm trying to think.
That's true.
There was some Star Wars stuff, but most of it was like cardboard and whatnot, right? Not plastic.
Well, there wasn't. There were some Star Wars play sets, but those weren't out. I don't know when those came out, because obviously the big debacle with Star Wars and Kenner is where they didn't even have figures for the longest time.
Right.
Like the biggest thing about with He-Man is like there was a big revolution happening in action figures in that time period, because prior to that, everything had always been huge. Like you had G.I. Joe was a large figure, so was Big Jim, so was the $6 Million Man. They're all these large figures, and then you had Star Wars with Kenner, and they came out. Everything was like these really small figurines.
Yeah, that's true.
And then what they did with He-Man, he's just larger than life, muscled, much larger than.
And those
G.I.
were
Joes
6 or 5 inches, right?
I think 6 inches, maybe 5. Yeah, 5 inches.
Based on the proportions, because they were like huge.
Yeah, so that really changed everything. And because I remember growing up back then, I was born in '83, so I didn't have like the original run. I knew of He-Man, and I remember watching the show, and I had a couple toys, but I didn't have the toys I had were like later in the run, and then I actually had one from the sci-fi relaunch. It was like the New Adventures of He-Man, I believe is what that was called. But
what's the difference between this He-Man and the other He-Man? It's new. The adventures are new, Mom. Buy me the sci-fi stuff.
Like, but that was, I remember those like the Castle Grayskull and things like that were like the big deal toys. You had the Castle Grayskull, you had the Technodrome for Turtles.
Yeah. That was a big
the
one.
Ghostbusters Firehouse.
Had the didn't they have the scale
the G.I. Joe
Walker?
Aircraft Carrier?
Oh God, that was the biggest toy, I believe.
There was the big Walker toy from Star Wars and AT-AT.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking of. Yep, because that fit the G.I. Joe sized figures, I believe.
So that was the thing back then. So it's just crazy to hear about this and learn about what goes into the marketing and design. Like, if you haven't read it, if you haven't watched it, like much like, you know, if you were watching the Toys That Made Us, like the one about Transformers was, I found to be just as equally as
with all the iterations of like where the inspiration
and like the one guy in
from.
Japan that like developed most of the design ideas
and how they were just like, they didn't even think that was that big of a deal.
No. Like, so really cool. Power of Grayskull. For me, it's just like, you know, it's like, again, it's like that nostalgia wave. I'd like to see one that digs into Thundercats. That'd be interesting too. And the last thing, this is what we tried to watch on Saturday night.
Don't spoil it though, because I want to see. I want to see for my own eyes.
I won't spoil it, because you know my wife has always been interested in westerns, and we watched the trailer, and I wasn't too familiar. You know, I'm familiar with the brothers. I don't think she really is, and she had asked me, because on the trailer she's like, "Is this going to be like a parody or a satire?" She's like, "Because I don't really want to watch that." I was like, "I don't think it's going to be. I couldn't tell from the trailer." And then I
wouldn't be able to answer that.
I should have known, because like to make a long story short, I finally shut it off after an hour and 9 minutes in.
Wow, that's pretty far into it.
Well, Jess lost interest at like the 30-minute mark. She wasn't watching, and I was still kind of enjoying it, like the first, because you know it's like 5 or 6 shorter tales all combined.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. And like they were starting to get a bit better, and I was like, okay, maybe it's gonna. But then, man, I was even bored. I was just like, the pacing was slow, and the stories were just boring. I wasn't having fun watching it. But as I watched it, I was like, this is something like that. I hate to say that, but I'm like, the people that are the film people that are in the cinema talking about it, they're gonna love this.
I was just going to say, let's see what IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes has to say. Have you looked at any scores or anything?
I don't think I have.
All right. If you had to wager a guess, what would you say for IMDb out of 10?
I'm going to say like between a 6 and a 7.
7.4, so a little bit higher than you expected. Now here comes the big one, because of course you have the positive reviews and the negative reviews for the critics, and then the audience score basically
I'm gonna
is how many of them liked it.
88 for critics, like 88%.
And audience score will be
73.
Wow, you were really close on the audience score. 77% liked it, and it has a 93%.
93. So
critics. So you were right about the critics part. And really,
like if I was watching it solo, I mean, I would probably see it through, because that's what I usually do. But I'm sitting here watching my wife just sitting here on her phone. I was like, well, we're supposed to be watching something together. That defeats the purpose of what we're doing right now. And
I remember you saying, you had said it's a little slow. Did you say that on the podcast? Sorry, I was looking this up. Did you mention?
Oh no, I said that. I said that in Discord.
Yeah. Okay.
Tonight. Yeah. I said that.
Now this is typically why I don't like westerns, because I do find that they are often quite slow. Like, look at even
Unforgiven.
Yeah, Unforgiven. There Will Be Blood. That's a pretty slow movie. Although
it is slow.
I will say that the way that that's filmed,
given us the greatest sound bites in Fluxtaposed history, though.
That's true, and we have not referenced milkshakes in the drinking up. So that is typically why I don't like westerns, but I still want to give this a shot, obviously, because now that I see the score.
Yeah, I will say, like, some of the scenery and the set pieces and everything, visually, it's really great to look at. It was just, man, I don't know. just I felt bad. I felt really bad because I was just
For
like,
your wife?
this is what I want to watch. I thought she'd really like it, and I was like, this is made a. I as you would say, I'm on a sinking ship of despair.
See,
that's what was.
I
happening.
guess I'm lucky because for the most part, I know that I'm not gonna like most of what Danette watches, and she knows that I don't because she watches some things that I will like we watch Making a Murder and stuff like that together, but she definitely does not want to watch some of the stuff I like, for instance. So we have those. She just doesn't even bother anymore. She's just like, why don't you just go downstairs and watch what you want to watch?
Well, if
and
I don't,
I'm like, screw that, I'll play video games.
If I don't watch something together with her, then I'm never going to watch anything.
That's true.
Because,
See, I forget, everybody's got to know, too, that we're opposites. I stay home all day, and you go to work. So you're the one that's gone all day. So, yeah, that's tough. I know nothing about this movie except for what you've said, but I'm going to probably try to watch it before Thursday or before Friday anyway. And maybe I'll report back with my thoughts. But so
you can watch it when you're on the recovery bed.
I'm going to be watching a lot of stuff probably. So is it I don't think you ever clarified. Is it a parody or is it really a Western or?
I mean, it's a Western, but it's
like fantastical.
Yeah,
elements?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tall tales and the like.
Yeah.
I see. All right. Well, Buster Scruggs. It's got a great name. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah.
Scruggs. Is that it?
So,
is that it?
And the first story is a bit of a musical.
Oh,
so
okay. I don't know how I'm going to feel about that then.
Be prepared.
Be prepared. Well, if that's everything, I will tell you.
That's everything.
I'll tell you, I watched a slow-ass movie that you probably would have turned off in 5 minutes. And boy, I don't know, man. It's tough for me. Because sometimes I feel like I should be appreciating something. I watched the director's second film, Mandy. I talked about it on the last episode. Talked about how much I liked it. I loved it. I know it's not for everyone, and that's fine. It does. I don't need it to be. I don't need to like you're saying. I don't feel like every movie I watch needs to be an art piece, but I also don't feel like every art piece I watch needs to be liked by everybody either. So I watched his first film because I was very interested. Very visual style, kind of reminded me of Guillermo del Toro, with the use of color and slow. Well, not so much Guillermo, but he has like these slow hypnotic pacing style of directing. So this movie is about a young girl who has ESP or telekinetic powers or whatever.
Girl, get out of my.
And she is stuck in a facility that, and she's being held captive by this man. And I'm just going to I'm going to spoil this for anybody who's listening right now, because the story is not really that. Nobody's going to watch this probably who's hearing this right now. And if they do, either one, they're not going to want the story spoiled for them, or two, they already know that the story is so simple that I can't really talk about this movie without spoiling it. So this girl, she's stuck in this facility, and this man is basically enamored with her. And his boss is the one who owns this facility, but he's addicted to drugs and basically has a drug-addled mind by this point. He, on the other hand, this facility combines science with New Age beliefs. So it's partially spiritual and partially scientific. He has undergone a ritual, a journey, for lack of a better word, where he went in this black substance and saw visions that forever changed him. He's basically crazy now. He's obsessed with this girl. She escapes, and he tries to get her back, basically. He hunts her down. This has some of the slowest moving... That's like the extent of the entire movie. That I just told you the whole story, basically.
Oh.
this has some of the slowest moving parts I have ever seen in a film. It's hypnotic in a way to look at. The score is synth heavy, which of course I appreciate, but not as good as Mandy. It's almost like I know this director Panos has been compared to Stanley Kubrick and stuff like that. If you've ever seen 2001,
every time when you say his name, I always think you're trying
Stanley
to say
Kubrick's.
Manos.
Oh,
Manos Hands of Fate.
Yes. He's been compared to Stanley Kubrick in like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Think of, if you've seen that type of slow moving, very methodical
fun fact,
pacing.
I don't think I ever have watched it in its entirety.
2001.
Yeah, so I hope to at some point remedy that and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I don't think I've ever watched that.
I've never watched that too, actually, Close Encounters. So, and that's a Steven Spielberg movie. So if you want to watch that someday with me, because you say I never invite you, I'm officially inviting you to a watch party.
That involves me to break the rules of once I leave work and come home and never leave again.
That's not my problem. So anyways, yeah, this definitely fits the bill for slow plotting filmmaking. The other film that I watched is called Apocalypse Now. Speaking of films that we've been meaning to see, this is something that somehow I've just always avoided. Not on purpose, it just never has come up. I've always known, I love the smell of napalm in the morning, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know how, but I have. And so doing the Netflix DVD, I was like, you know what? It's time to remedy this. We've talked about it in film school. I want to see it. This film, it's interesting to see, because I've watched the documentary about how it was made. So it's interesting to see like all the helicopters flying around and stuff. Once you know that it was actually, he barely had any control of that, and it was a threat to them possibly being gone at any time, because he used I can't remember now, but it was like the army of whatever country that he was in. He used that army's or that military's helicopters, and they were in the middle of a war or something, or they were in some kind of situation where they could be called away at any time.
Some sort of conflict.
Yeah, exactly. So he never knew if he was going to have these helicopters or not. But man, regardless of all of that, what an interesting movie about the deterioration of the human psyche as these guys float down the river on this boat. And what I like about this movie, because I will say it was like a 4 out of 5 for me. It wasn't like, I'm not saying it was the most perfect movie ever.
Can you get it to me one more time? And Adam Sessler?
Yeah, it was a 4 out of 5. So I'm not saying it's perfect, but what I liked about this movie is that during this whole time that you're slowly seeing these characters kind of just fall to pieces, it's not overplayed and it's not over-explained. I feel like nowadays the whole thing would be like, look how crazy these guys are going. But it's usually the stuff that's kind of happening in the background and it doesn't really matter. It's just like two characters will be talking and then the camera will cut to the guy who's manning the gun at the front of the boat, and he's just applying war paint to himself, even though he's never really going to get off this boat. But he claims that it's camouflage so they can't see him. That type of thing. It doesn't call attention to itself. It's very subtle, and I appreciate that because that doesn't happen a lot. Nowadays, it's like, look how crazy these guys. They're going crazy on a boat. Wasn't the war terrible? The Vietnam War? Whatever. So I really enjoyed it. And then, of course, he gets to his end point and completes his mission, but to what end? The horror. So it was good. I feel complete. I've watched it before I died on Friday.
Yeah.
Lastly, I'll go over my last two things quick. I watched the rest of Norseman, the season 2. I've talked about it. That's the comedy Norse one.
Yep.
It's good, dude. Like, the sad thing is, I don't think anybody will watch it. It's a very niche audience for this thing, and I don't know.
It's in my queue.
It does have some humor. Yeah, that doesn't mean much. We all know how hard it is to get through your queue. Not your queue specifically, but a queue in general.
No, yeah.
No. I've tried to get Mike to watch it because, it is a comedy show, but he was telling me he doesn't watch shows too much anymore. He strictly tries to keep to movies, but it's funny.
He's got all the reviews he's got to write for the site.
That's probably true. That keeps him watching a lot of movies.
He's a slave to the content now.
That's true. Content creator, man. It's a tough job.
It is.
Someone's got to do it. I hear they're not making enough podcasts these days. They need more podcasts to be made.
The internet call. There's a shortage on podcasts.
This just in. I just need to get a sound effect where it's the the wiretap noise. But Norseman, it's good. I watched all 2 seasons, and the surprising part of this whole show is that things that they wrote into like the first and second episodes come back later into the rest of the movie or the rest of the season. It feels like one of those things where they're just going to throw away jokes or throw away plot lines and stuff, but they don't, which is strange because usually that's like a really good shortcut, or not a good shortcut, but that's a often used shortcut where they'll just do throwaway jokes or gags where it doesn't really come into play later. You get a quick laugh and then you get out of there and you're done. But here it actually has story repercussions, which is interesting. So yeah, if anybody ever feels like they don't know what to watch, but they want something that's fairly funny, chuckle-worthy, if you will, watch Norseman. It's a Netflix original, so you know it's going to be canceled soon anyway. So
here's my problem. Here's my problem with shows is because I'm already like mid a bunch of other shows. So I feel like I gotta finish the shows I've got.
Yes, I know that feeling.
Before I can start another show.
That's true. And that's my other problem. These are only 22 minutes though, at least. Yeah. So at least you can get through these. Everything else.
I don't think I'm ever
going to
watch anything from Marvel because it's all getting pulled and it's all going to end up on the Disney streaming.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to have to get anyway, so I can watch The Mandalorian.
Well, you'll just watch it there then.
Yeah.
Because it'll all still be there, I'm sure. Disney has money to pay for the old seasons, so. And then lastly, the only game I've really been playing besides Hollow Knight, and I've been playing a lot of Hollow Knight, but people are probably tired of hearing about that game, is Octopath Traveler. It is a good game. Octopath Traveler, also a good game. There's something
You'll probably finish Octopath before I do.
Well, I don't know, because I haven't been playing it as much as you think I have. I'm not even done with all the first chapters. I've gotten about four characters out of 8. I'm working on the 5th right now. I'm getting Alphys, the alchemist,
dude.
Not the alchemist,
the scholar. Oh no, Alphen. He's the
Alphen. Yes, sorry,
Alphen. He is the
apothecary.
He is my main. Which is, do you have Cyrus yet?
I do have Cyrus. Yes.
Well,
he's the second one I got, and he's a badass.
Alphen's a bit like a tank after a while, but he can heal, and like the way what. It's interesting how you can mix jobs, but like my Alphen, like every time he attacks, he does like 3x attacks, and he heals himself with each attack. But Cyrus like never leaves my party because eventually you can get a advanced skill with him, so you're doing double attacks, and he regenerates spell points.
Double magic, because I have one of them. I have the fire one where it hits him twice.
Get your double magic, but then you can get an ability that reduces your SP costs by half.
Ooh.
And you regenerate SP every turn. So eventually he can just, it's crazy.
He just walks into a room and is just like, obliterate.
Yeah. But I've only finished chapter 2 with all characters. That's only as far as I ever got. And
chapter 1's not really that tough because you just show up to every I really feel like I almost don't like the setup of just getting all these people and going around in a big circle and collecting them all, because there's times where I'm just like, why would Therion, the thief, take anybody with him? His whole backstory is about the one time he trusted somebody and something bad happened, or they got separated, or they died or something. And then you show up and he's just like, oh, you're going to follow me into danger? Well, you better stay out of my way because I'm a badass thief. Let's go inside here and rob some places.
Hair flip.
Push up glasses. So anyways, I made the decision to turn off the voiceovers. Say what you will. I don't care. I will read the voice. I will read the text because I might not even care about the voiceovers if the text wasn't also there, but I find it too distracting to read ahead of what's being said and then skip through it anyways, or wait for the voice actors to say the lines, but still have the text like going, and it just bugs me. So I've turned it off, and you know what? I don't care. We didn't have, back in my day, in the Super Nintendo days, our RPGs didn't have voiceovers, damn it. So I don't care. I'll turn them off. I even tried the Japanese ones. Didn't like them. So here's the big problem I'm running into, though. When I play the game, I like it. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's a big pull to bring me to the game, though. Like, when I sit down and force myself to play it, I enjoy it.
I would agree with you on that, because I'm clearly going through the same thing, because when I play it, I have fun, but yeah, it's not like I've had a dry spell in games purposely as I'm waiting for Smash, and I could go back to that, but yeah, there's just like, I'm not.
I think it's the way the story is set up. I really do. It's so. Eight people is a lot. That's a lot of stories to see play out, you know?
It's a lot to keep track of too, because you gotta like for me, I've stepped away from it, so now going back,
you're
it's
gonna be like, what the hell?
God, what's even going on anymore?
Yeah, I could see that. So that's probably my big thing is that I just don't feel the draw. I don't know if I'll finish it before I have to return it to the library.
I don't think you will.
So if that comes to pass, I'll probably rent it out again, but I have some other stuff coming, and then of course Smash. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I'll buy it when it's on sale. Maybe I was going to do that with Xenoblade, but I ended up beating it. Maybe this one I'll just buy it.
First party game, so the chance that it actually has a decent price on it is possible, unlike anything made by Nintendo directly.
Yeah. So that's everything. That's me.
So that's everything?
Oh my God, we have a grab bag.
We have a grab bag coming from the man, the myth, the legend, Dan Anthony.
Man on the street.
Writes, Fluxtaposed, less zany article this time. Favorite fast food fries, favorite toppings. Let's talk fries. Hashtag fry chat. CBS 46, you should only eat 6 fries per serving. Harvard professor says.
Oh God.
So we're going to bring in the article.
That's a
Harvard
low
professor
amount.
suggests healthy portion of fries containing only 6. This seems a relatively short article, so we'll hit it. Some people would be upset if they ordered a small fry and only got 6 potato sticks, but one college professor claims it's the ideal serving size to keep your meal healthier. Eric Rim, a professor at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, called the potato a starch bomb. In a recent New York Times article, he suggested that you must indulge in an order of French fries, considering limit the portion to size to 6. There aren't a lot of people who are setting back 3/4 of an order of French fries. He said, I think it would be nice if your meal came with a side salad and 6 French fries.
Is this guy 90? In his world, a medium
I eat 6 fries in one breath, wrote one user.
That's probably true.
That's true. That's me, by the way.
In his world, yeah, me too. That's why I said my number one thing I want to eat is a plate of fries. In his world, a medium fry would feed a family of 12, apparently, because that's 6 fries is nothing, especially if you're getting McDonald's fries. Now, if you go for those big ass potato wedges that are always soggy no matter what time you order them, and they're just it's literally like eating a quarter of a potato. 6 of those I could understand, but
yeah, right. Well, let's hit up Dan's question then. Favorite fast food fry?
Honestly, I'm gonna go with an unconventional pick because I don't typically eat here, but I'll tell you, I go pretty crazy for a curly fry. And you know who has curly fries?
Arby's?
Arby's, yes. I hate the rest of their menu, but I will eat their curly fries all day and a Jamocha shake on the side.
Ooh. I think in terms of fries, I think the Golden Arches probably have the most iconic fry, but if I'm going to go with I'm going to get French fries, I'm getting some crack fries from
But that's not a
Little hot cat.
That's not
I
a
know,
fast
but if I'm
food.
getting fries, that's what I'm doing. Or
You cheated.
what also is pretty good is I like Stella's fries. Steak and Shake has some good fries too. They're like the tiny pencily straws fries.
Worse
Yeah.
fries. I was just gonna say, you know what? It's more interesting.
You put
worse
chili
fries.
and cheese on them, and you just eat them with a fork.
See, here's the thing about Steak and Shake fries though. You have to order them and eat them there. If you order them fast food, because sometimes you get the fast food and you want to take it home and then enjoy it. You want to sit at your dinner table and pretend like you made a meal even though you didn't. You picked it up from an establishment.
No.
Worst fries. Worst. There's a reason you got to put all that shit on top of them because they're terrible.
What's your favorite topping to put on top of them? Jerkwad?
Well, I would say ketchup, but you don't put ketchup on top of fries, as we have discussed long ago.
What's your take on waffle fries? Do you like waffle fries?
I like a good waffle fry.
Okay.
I like a lot of the inventions that are coming out of the fry space these days. Waffle fries, they curl them now. Skin on, skin off.
What about bacon fries?
Baconator French fries. Favorite topping? Queso. Dude, you get some of that liquid cheese on there. Doesn't have to be queso. Liquid cheese. That I can do as a topping. Magma. Would you agree? Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, that sounds good. I could do that.
Who doesn't want cheese on anything, really?
You take some paste picante sauce and some Velveeta and make yourself some queso.
Manwich. I like to put manwich on top of my fries.
So you put semen on your wrong manwich.
Gross. What about you? Topping.
I usually I feel bad enough I'm eating fries, so I usually don't put anything on them.
That's true.
You know,
that's why ketchup's
honestly.
not terrible except for the sugar.
I mean, chili cheese is like
I thought you were gonna go with a garlic aioli dipping sauce.
No, let's face it. With me, it's got to be spicy, so I got to have like some Cajun
ghost pepper
spices on there, and then
liquid
some
ghost
sriracha,
pepper.
and then
I want my asshole to burn.
I want to. Oh God,
it's the only way I feel alive.
Oh God. Well, I think that we're gonna wrap up the show on that note. Next week we're gonna do another Fluxtaposed top 3, our top 3 worst Christmas gifts in the spirit of giving and being appreciative. Let's bitch about gifts that we're given.
Everyone can bitch about the gifts they've been given. You've just been dying for this. I know I have.
Yeah.
I've gotten some real stinkers.
Kevin, you submitted this. We better get an answer from you. So with that, we are going to say thank you to all of our patrons, but a special thanks to our arbiters of awesomeness, Kevin Ashton, Kyle Heyman, Tyler Rowland, Tom Shervo, Matt Knight, and our executors of excellence, Josh Barboni, Dan Anthony, Edwin Callow, Sirene, and Devin Tyus. Thank you all for your support. If you want to join the Flux Legion on Patreon, please check out patreon.com/Fluxtaposed. Get all the deets, got the giveaways, got more stretch goals we're hitting, including Fluxtaposed riff tracks.
Oh, God.
The exclusive Fluxtaposed, I can't remember it because I wrote a really long title, but it's a 12-month Fluxtaposed calendar.
I'm going to just say it right now. It's going to be video game themed, and you and I are going to dress up as characters. However shitty or good that ends up being. But I think that should be the theme.
Oh, God. I love it. I love it much. So there you go. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for witching. Thank you for witching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Tell a friend, witching and bitching, and come back next week. We'll save you a seat. Goodbye.
Bye.